How you doing?
How you doing, Gary?
Jay.
The heat's not on, though. Yes, sir. Please? Okay.
Head on that. Oh, Gary. How you doing? Gary, you turn the air conditioner up? No, Mario turned it up. It's on.
Hey.
Not that I know of. Just coming up tonight.
Tell you what, about half.
Okay. Well, we got a 4:30 meeting. Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
Is this on my grant?
Yeah.
You can, but, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'll put a note on it. It's for me. Thank you.
I say yeah. All right, boys, let's talk this over here.
They're usually sitting there, but there's maybe when the clerk treasurer comes, she'll have them.
Take a look at it.
Yeah, there's not much there. Right there. Yep.
Look for an agenda they print in.
I think you can get it
We've cut
That doesn't mean it'll be short meeting.
issue of
I don't know as if they're. I'm gonna bring something up about it. Oh,
Dave Culver's on the box.
oh, I'm Mike Lawrence. Are you the one I talked to? They called me? Yeah, really, that's all that I know at this point. You know, tonight's meeting, as you'll see, is about grants.
Yeah.
But
He's got the look. He's so much for parents. He's here to help. turned it up.
Yeah.
That was my prediction.
Judd was looking for you. Judd, he's out there someplace.
First thing to be, several people talking at once on here. Speakers, is this stuff turned on? All right, you know where the speakers are here?
In the corner for the room.
Mike, how you doing?
All right, yeah.
Good. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yep.
Yeah.
Been an interesting week.
Yeah?
We lose a row.
Yes, it has. No outages, though.
Huh?
No outages.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
I think everything for the holidays was smooth.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll make a cake.
You too, sir. You too, sir.
Hi, Mr. Sykes. Here, let me.
How you doing?
Way back when I came to these days.
That's where I remember him from before he met my mom.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing? I'm great, thanks.
Getting there. Hey, Abe, every time I do my wife like that, good luck.
You go over around the point down there, the state representatives on there, now it has an ordinance. I don't know what the other stuff is.
And the response to that was?
You got to hold it, check into it or whatever. I think this one's the least amount of problem.
I think you're right with
I never did get a copy of that thing. I text Doug and all that.
that. I'll get you a copy. He might have another copy.
I called him, called back, so I
I don't have
texted
it
him
with
today.
me.
But you're back from
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, okay. Hello. How are you? Oh! Who's that? Oh, did he?
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hey, that's all
I told Roxanne, we don't want to use a special occasion. I put them above the refrigerator in the cabinet.
Special occasion as soon as you crack some booze for
Yeah.
Or some maker tomorrow?
Hi, Jack. How you doing?
Today? I've been at home.
She's gonna come in early.
Yeah, I had to get Logan to
Hey, Tom?
actually watch the kids.
I figure you could be down somewhere where it's warm.
And Pacey, she has basketball practice.
Doug, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. Did you have a good Christmas?
Good.
We did too. It's so much fun watching those little
yeah, it
kids.
would be.
Oh, boy.
That's yours?
That was neat.
Thank you.
Seeing what Santa Claus brought and the elf on the shelf and all that stuff.
Maybe so you can compare.
A copy of the committee, those four so far on the school thing. And he's also interested. I gave council a copy of that, so this is yours. They're gonna form that committee to talk about the
Gaggle of
school.
them in there. There's a whole gaggle of them in there.
The gym and
Gaggle.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
And these four people wanna be on it. This guy's also interested. Okey doke?
Alrighty.
Pass it down.
That's all.
Hey, Leslie. You want something? I got it. Oh, you got it? Okay. No problem.
I'm not good.
About here?
Wait a minute.
No, let's see. My niece lost a 4-year-old daughter yesterday.
Oh, 27.
All ready? Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member Doug Taylor.
Here.
Member, Utility Director Mel Davis.
Here.
Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements? Hearing none, move on to new business. Leslie Votaw, resolutions, interlocal agreement for 10 county grant program recipients.
At the last meeting, the council have voted to have this work session so that the remaining interlocals could be passed by resolution. These are ones that were approved for 2012 by the Economic Development Grant Committee. And so, I guess just there's a total of 7.
Yeah, that's what I got. Oh.
Can I say something, Mayor?
Yes.
I think with the city being served with a federal subpoena, I would like to put the brakes on and not do anything on those grants.
How's the rest of the board feel?
Mayor, I feel the same. I don't know as far as any issues as far as with the grant, but I got served the subpoena from the United States District Court, and it being on there as far as for a grand jury for investigation into grants and loans as far as with the city of Lawrenceburg and such, I would like for it to at least be looked into to make sure that everything is right on that, since we are into 2012 and we have had some in the past, and we went through this and had the resolution, ordinance and such that we had made up on this, just to make sure that we've got all our bases covered on these grants to, for us to be able to allow it to happen.
Any more from boards?
I feel like this program is fine. The governor of the state has appointees on this board. Our state representatives on this board. If there was something wrong with this board, I believe they would have known by now.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm just saying, could we check into this to make sure? I mean, I'm the one, my name is on a United States District Court subpoena for an investigation into, well, I understand that.
Join the crowd.
Into this, and I would just ask, I'm not saying that they can't be awarded, but we're here at the end of the year, that why couldn't we have this checked in to make sure for certain?
I think we got a state rep in the audience, and I'd like to hear his opinion about this. Judd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything prepared here to say, so you're not looking for or in line for a big speech, but I appreciate the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, to address the board. I very much understand your concerns, and with the subpoena being served, I don't disagree with you that you want to make sure that everything is in line. But I do believe this. I believe that it would be a tragic mistake to ultimately put the brakes on this because a subpoena has been served. If you need to take some time because the subpoena was recently served and there hasn't been a whole bunch of time between it was served, I can understand that. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with the program that's going on right now, and I will tell you this. I'm happy that there's an investigation going on. We're talking about a whole bunch of money that is being spent, and if something has gone wrong, then I think that somebody does need to look into it, and we need to make sure that that is taken care of so that things are done well in the future. But what the city is doing with this money is providing opportunity for economic growth in the entire southeastern region of the state. That's incredibly important to the entire southeastern region. It's incredibly important to the state of Indiana. That's the reason that the state has kept their hands off of some of the money that is generated through Lawrenceburg here, because the city of Lawrenceburg has been benevolent enough to share these funds with other areas of the state and help promote economic development. Now, just because a subpoena has been issued, and Mr. Taylor, you're a police officer, you know this, doesn't mean that anybody's done anything wrong. It means that somebody says, we want to take some time and look into what's happening here. If somebody at some level, especially a higher level, was convinced that something has gone wrong, I feel fairly confident that there would be a charge against somebody, or at least an injunction asking a court to become involved and say, we need to put the brakes on this. So while I understand you guys saying this has just come out, we don't want to make any egregious errors by refusing to acknowledge the existence of these subpoenas. I think that it would be a bad decision for economic development in southeastern Indiana, for Lawrenceburg's efforts to continue to maintain control of their gaming revenues, to say that we're going to put the brakes on a program that the state has said this is very important to us, and this is one of the reasons that we allow Lawrenceburg to maintain their gaming revenues. I can tell you this, gaming revenues in the state are going down. The state is very dependent upon gaming revenues. If the city of Lawrenceburg decides that they are unwilling to share some of their money because of fear of this or something else, and it turns out that there was nothing wrong, or that the thing that had happened wrong happened years ago and there's nothing wrong with the current administration's organization of their awarding of the grants, it will be a prime time for people at the state to say, while we are looking to maintain or to generate additional state revenue, the appropriate thing for us to do would be to go in and take revenues from an entity that's no longer sharing the revenues. And I don't want to see that tragic mistake made down here. So, again, I can't fault you for wanting to take the time to make sure that you're doing things right, but I think that it would be a tragic mistake to have a knee-jerk reaction to these subpoenas being served and automatically say, well, we're going to terminate the program. If you're talking about grants that have already been awarded, I can tell you this, there are people who are counting on those grants. They have made investments based on getting acknowledgement of receiving those grants to promote economic development. Those are people's jobs. Those are people that are out there trying to make a living and make ends meet. And there are people out there who are creating those jobs based on this grant opportunity. And I don't want to see those types of things flushed down the toilet based on a knee-jerk reaction before we know what's really going on that's wrong. So with that being said, I'll be happy to field any questions that anybody would have.
I haven't said as far as terminating the program. I think it's a very good program. I just want to make sure that, you know, what is being done is done correctly. If it needs to be done some other way or whatever, that might be wrong. I mean, what would be the harm in Leslie, as far as checking, how long would it take to check as far as like the next council meeting? Would that be enough time to to find out? I mean, you're also an attorney as well.
The ordinance that was passed by council for the 10 county grant program, that was just passed when?
Earlier this
couple
year.
meetings ago, yeah.
Okay. And at that time, both our office and your attorney's office reviewed that ordinance, correct?
No. Our attorney's never had time to review any of the ordinance or the resolution, and we would like to have time for him to review.
We put that off for like 2 months. So you're saying
actually, when that was put in our packet on a Friday,
right,
and we voted on it on Monday,
right.
But as far as the ordinance,
meetings about it.
yeah, we had many special meetings.
But we never had the actual written up ordinance in our packets till Friday, so we never had a chance to submit it to our attorney.
I would like our attorney to give a written legal opinion if it is legal to do these grants, because, which I'm not an attorney, you are an attorney. Everything that I've researched now, the only thing I can see that is allowed to give grants is redevelopment. You know, by reading statutes, but I'm not an attorney, and I think.
Well, there's a whole bunch of entities out there that give grants that aren't redevelopment commissions.
But I just want a written opinion because it's me on the line and him and the rest of these folks.
Can you allow us to give our attorney time to review the 10 county grant ordinance and these resolutions?
He has received this?
No.
2 months ago?
No. Not the 10 county grant ordinance or these resolutions. And he was frankly upset with us when we went through with it and didn't even show it to him, but now I'd like.
Voted on it to approve it.
Yeah, we did.
So it is a legal document.
Correct. But I would still like him to review the ordinance and the resolutions.
Would it be a problem to add, that couldn't, I don't see why that couldn't be done by the next meeting? And that's January the 7th, is that correct?
Yes, we would have done it that way, but it was, I believe, Mr. Lawrence's request that we have this work session today to get these done before the end of the year.
Ma'am, I did not know a federal subpoena was getting served on the city.
You're right. You're right. Nobody knew that.
Well, I mean, that's what the issue is right now as far as that has been since this, I mean, the subpoena has been since that has been done. I'm just asking, could we, the delay as far as January the 7th, I don't see where that would be and like I said, I'm not trying to stop the program, but I don't see where January the 7th, asking for that little bit of time there to be reviewed to make sure would be asking too much.
Well, and if you're asking me that question, I would say I don't have the answer, and I don't know that anybody in this room has the answer, because the people who are going to be affected by that are those folks who are investing in economic development projects who are counting on this. And I don't know if there are folks out there who have been waiting and who are hoping to get this thing done by the end of the year, or they're not.
There are definitely people out there waiting. In doing all of these agreements and resolutions, I spoke to every entity to make sure I had the correct entities, the correct addresses and everything, and they were glad that we were doing this before, the end of the year. But, it's not my decision, it's council's decision on whether or not they table these resolutions.
It's your meeting, and I'll step down and let you guys move forward with it. What I would tell you is this. I think this is a great program. I'm excited that we have the opportunity to do this. This is a unique program that most areas of the state don't have, and it is helping us tremendously in southeastern Indiana. If there are issues, I'm happy to see this investigation, happy to see it go forward. I would hate to see us get caught up on something where we don't understand the ramifications of it yet that would have a detrimental effect on these economic development projects. If it were so pressing, and this is just me as an attorney speaking, if it were so pressing that somebody wanted you guys to stop the program now, I'm fairly confident that somebody would have filed an injunction. There are legal proceedings that are meant to address that very problem, and nobody's done that. Nobody's asked you guys to stop. Nobody's even asked a court to look into whether you should stop or not.
I received a phone call this morning from a gentleman in town with the business who has gotten a grant, and he already had the word that Mr. Lawrence was going to try and put the brakes on the whole program of loans and grants. He said, "Is that true?" I said, "I have no idea." But so word was already out on the street this morning.
I don't lie. I just said I want to put the brakes on. It's just like a lot of meetings, just you want to talk about, didn't you have your attorney to review it? We got it on Friday, it passed on Monday. You shove down our throats, okay? I'm going to vote my way. Everybody else vote the way they feel, okay? But nobody's shoving anything down my throat.
No, I was just making a statement that I got a call this morning.
Mayor, thank you for your time. I'll be happy to address the board.
Grant,
Thank you very much.
You just met with the governor's appointee. What do you have to say about this program?
He thought it was a great program, and look forward to working with us in the new administration, governor's new administration, regarding the 10-county area. They were very excited about it.
What was the percentage he said that we do in economic development for this part of the state?
I think the reference that he made, because of the areas such as Seymour and that, he didn't state a specific percentage, but he felt that it was a large contributor to the state overall economic development.
So up to you if you want to vote on it, you got to put on a motion.
I agree, it's a wonderful program. I'm just asking that we have some more time to let our attorney review. We have no intentions of killing the 10-county grant program at all. We just want legal counsel.
You want to put in a motion to table this?
I'll put it in a motion. I'd like for this to be looked at and brought back for the January 7th council meeting to be looked over by both Leslie and like to retain Barnes and Thornburg to represent council as far as in looking into this as well with the federal subpoena being issued. If there's something that's there that's wrong that needs to be addressed, that the time from now until January the 7th, I don't think that's going to hurt that we couldn't at least check on this to make sure. And January the 7th is what and we find out it's fine. I have no problem with it going on. I mean, I'm on the board, but I mean, I'm sitting here in front of a subpoena, and I don't like that.
I haven't received a subpoena.
I'll make you a copy. I'll get you one.
I haven't received one either.
I'll get you a copy.
I haven't either.
I'll make copies. I'd like to make a motion for this to be tabled until the January 7th, until council has been able to look over it, make sure that it is grants to be awarded by the council
Need a second?
to the county.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Jane Pope,
Yes.
Aaron Cook,
No.
Bill Bruner,
No.
Mike Lawrence,
Yes.
and Doug Taylor is a
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Ayes have it.
Yes.
Moving on. Grand Hughes, interlocal agreement for building enforcement officer.
Yes, Your Honor, in the packet, there is the interlocal cooperation agreement between the city of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, and the city of Greendale, Dearborn County, Indiana, for the provision of building inspector services. You have that interlocal, and you also have a joint resolution for tonight's review.
Any questions?
I have one comment. My problem is with voting on this before we have an appropriation to even pay the person that would be doing this job.
Valerie, could you address that, please?
Is he not gonna get paid?
He's getting paid already, isn't it?
I'm glad you said that, sir, but there's not appropriation, I don't think, to pay him
Next year.
next year, so I can't even remember if there's one for this year for sure.
Yep.
Huh?
There is.
Is for him.
There is for him?
Yeah.
Because there's other people there's not, but they've been getting paid all year.
Well, I think we're talking
There's
about this person right here.
appropriations for all of them. They're
There's
not on
none.
the salary ordinance.
Salary on it.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
We're talking about this person right here, the building inspector, this time.
Okay.
You got something to say?
Yeah, Valerie.
Yes, from what I understand, the building inspector's line item is paid out of the riverboat. Is that correct, Jackie?
Yes.
Okay. We do need to do a riverboat appropriation. We cannot put the cart before the horse. You have to do an appropriation before you can do a salary ordinance, before you can do anything. You can continue paying the people out of the general fund because you have an appropriation from 2012. But when the mayor vetoed the budget with all of the raises, that,
All the raises wasn't in there, I was correction there.
well,
There's some left out.
well, some of them were left out. I'm sorry. So like I said, you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to do the appropriation before you can create a salary ordinance to pay people. If you can't obligate the city above and beyond what you have.
That's your opinion. Now, you've talked to the state.
The DLGF said, that, well, first of all, the State Board of Accounts says the salary ordinance would have to be passed yet this year, for next year. DLGF says that as long as the additional appropriations for riverboat monies are done in the month of January, you can pay people in advance. That
Okay.
came from Dan Jones, Assistant Budget Director, and I think it's Mike Duffy, his legal person.
Here is, Nick Kyle couldn't be with us this evening, but here was his advice. He said, you have a salary ordinance. It is the ordinance that was effective starting in 2012, Ordinance 18-2011. The mayor vetoed the council's budget, which included amounts for raises and new positions. As a result, the city is living within the 2012 general fund budget unless and until an additional appropriation is adopted. I cannot advise passing any salary ordinance that deviates from current salaries until after the appropriation question is decided. To the extent Jackie is being told you need a salary ordinance before 12/31, she should respond that the appropriate ordinance is the one that is currently in effect.
Yes, but the State Board of Accounts has also told me, if we're going back to that ordinance, fine. But the people's jobs that are not in that ordinance will not be able to be paid come January the 1st.
Are those,
Because they're not in the salary ordinance.
and those are the ones that are being paid out of Riverboat, correct?
Yeah, and those are the ones I gave you today when you were in my office.
Right, so we need to do an additional appropriation into Riverboat also so that those people can be paid. You don't have it.
We were going to.
Right, after the first of the year,
Yeah.
we have to do an appropriation. So after the first of the year, when the appropriation is done, then you can create the salary ordinance to pay those people.
So in the meantime, though, if we're going by the old salary ordinance, then come January the 1st, and until I do the additional appropriation, I can't pay those people that aren't in there.
So I have a question. When is the payroll for the end of the year? I understand that
We
your-
pay
your
on
last-
Wednesdays.
Your last payroll, so your last payroll for the end of the year will be sometime in January? Is that correct? That's how it fell last year.
Let me think here. Because we pay a week behind, so the check they got yesterday was for last week. this week would be next week, and then the next check is one day. Yeah, it would be like
Ninth.
probably the 9th of January.
So that would be the last paycheck for.
Well, that'd be the first one for the new year, maybe.
Okay, so then on the 7th at the council meeting, could we have an appropriation
No.
ready?
No. I'm still
But would
working
it-
on the numbers with UMBA.
What would it take? How long do you think it would take?
Well, you have to advertise it, and then you need 10 days.
Right, and you knew that when the mayor vetoed the original budget.
I've
and
been
why-
working on this for months, but everybody keeps wanting information out of my office. They keep throwing subpoenas and lawsuits and stuff at me. I now have 1 lawsuit and 2 subpoenas on my desk. And, I don't have enough time in the day to get all this done. I worked all day today, other than when I was in the mayor's office, on these numbers. And yes, I know I had to do it, and it should already be advertised. I just don't have it done. Sorry.
Now, we have looked at, the Board of Works did pass the union contract. And so we did prepare a salary ordinance. We didn't expect anyone to pass it tonight. Obviously, been working on it all day, all night last night. I wanted to go ahead and give this to you, and you can review it with your council, and it may be something that we can do on the 7th. Because the salary ordinance is under old business. It was brought up before, when it wasn't passed before. It's something, the salary ordinance is not something we have to advertise, because it can be brought up under old business. And this is coming from Humboldt. I talked to them about it.
How do you pass a contract when there's not appropriations for it at the time?
It's passed to accept the contract, then it goes on to use appropriations.
We passed the contract because
You can't pass
the
contracts.
union passed it, ratified it, and the Board of Works has now ratified it, the union contract.
Now it goes to council to be appropriations.
So like I said, I'm going to pass these out to you tonight. We're not expecting to do anything on it, other than the fact that you can review it and maybe come to some
Leslie,
kind of
I think
consensus.
what the question, or my question is on this part here, and as far as mayor, is that, yes, there is a budget, but the budget that will be going on in 2013, starting out, is going to be the 2012 budget. Therefore, there is increases in the contracts and such for the employees. There's not going to be enough there for that, and that's what is basic, I mean, as far as money-wise.
But there's enough to start out the year with, Doug, with the raise.
I got a question for Valerie. Can we do a salary ordinance before we appropriate the money, or do we need to appropriate the money first?
Like I said, you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to have the money. You can't obligate the city above and beyond what you already have.
So we have to go through the process of the 10-day notice to the public on appropriations.
That's a question for legal.
As far as the salary ordinance, no. And I will trust what Dan Hedden told me from Humboldt. It was already brought up this year. It can be considered old business, therefore it does not need to be
What about the appropriations, Leslie?
As far as the appropriations go, yes.
We can't
I mean,
put the
that's-
cart before the horse, so we have to do the appropriations first then.
But like Jackie said, if an ordinance is
Horse
not
before the cart.
passed, if an ordinance is not passed, then there are people that are not gonna get paid.
We worked hours on a budget, we proposed a budget, the mayor vetoed it, the ball was put back in her court and the mayor's court. They never picked up the ball.
Who's we?
Who's we?
Once again, who's we?
State statute states that the mayor
Jackie
makes
and the
budget.
mayor never picked up the ball to do a new budget
We had a budget
or
made.
appropriations.
Who worked on
I've
it?
never seen it.
Who worked on the
We had it out
budget?
here, you never passed it.
I still have yet to see it.
I've never seen a budget come from yous.
We submitted the budget to them.
I gave you all those budget copies, that stack about so thick.
You give us the estimate for the general fund.
I gave you the copies of the budgets, the estimates of the revenues, and whatever, that other form that you all wanted, all in one stack.
What you read on a first reading was never given to us.
What, read what? I'm sorry.
The budget that was read on the first reading at the budget hearing was never given to us.
What you read in your first reading was never given to us.
Well, it was
So-
given to you.
So,
It might not have been given to you
hold
soon
on,
enough.
hold on. So jamming it down our throat, is that what you're talking about? You were just saying that. Here we go.
Oh, and you're gonna pass out a salary ordinance tonight?
We're
They're not gonna
passing,
pass.
So you can look at it.
we're passing it out for your information.
I'm glad that you said you still don't
This-
have that salary ordinance.
This would be brought up January the
Or
7th,
that,
is what you're saying.
budget.
Yes, but I want to go ahead and give it to you now.
Fine.
Because there are, the union pay in here. We've also looked at the, I can't think of.
Leslie, we can't vote on a salary ordinance on January
not-
the 7th till we have the appropriations for the money there.
And hopefully for January 7th,
No, we won't,
we won't, it'll be the second meeting,
probably.
the second meeting. At any rate, I want to pass these out to you all tonight. This is a revised salary ordinance. We do think it does comply with the union contract, which has already been passed by the Board of Works. Plus it has the non-union positions, which are contract and part-time.
In one solid salary ordinance, or did
Yes.
you divide it up?
I didn't divide it up. And this isn't law, this is just something that complies with the union contract because we can't deviate, our salary ordinance cannot deviate from the union contract. That's already been ratified by the union and it's already been passed by the Board of Works. So, I'm gonna hand copies to all of you. And down that way, please.
Oops.
The non-union positions haven't been passed by the Board of Works.
That's true.
And you said you agree it can't deviate away from this salary ordinance,
Not true either.
from whatever salary ordinance is passed, correct?
Whatever union contract has been passed. Now,
Well,
I
I'm
have
saying the
put
salary
asterisks.
ordinance, you can't pay somebody different than what the salary ordinance says, correct?
And let me explain, there are asterisks by the ones that have, and what is the term?
Skilled trade.
Skilled trade adjustment. I've not been able to come up with that term all day. The asterisks are, do delineate the skilled trade adjustments. So what's in the union contract is less the skilled trade adjustments. The skilled trade adjustments are included in the union contract. They're just not put into, you know what I mean, the actual salary ordinance.
But they're in the back of the
They're in the
contract.
back. They're in the back. And so that's what all those asterisks, and I did fail to notate that at the bottom of the wage schedule. So that does need to be added. I know that's one thing I need to add. But I went through all of these figures with Teresa. There are 6 items that we need to go back to the union on that we plan to do. 3 omitted positions, and then some differences on 3 other positions as far as, you know, what the union contract should say. So we're in the middle of doing that. The mayor has signed an extension with the union to give us 30 additional days until January 30th, right? January 30th, to modify whatever, you know, might need to be modified as far as the union contract. But like I said, I wanted to pass this out to you tonight. If there's any questions, any of you can call me. You can have your counsel call me. But, I mean, this, first and foremost, and understand about the appropriations, this, along with appropriations, is what's going to need to be passed. But we want to make sure that the workers are going to get paid come January.
Leslie, you said that on the ones that have the asterisks, that has the skilled trade adjustment on those?
Correct.
And then the others that do not have the skilled trade adjustment included in it? Okay.
That's correct. Or they've already been they're already in the union contract with it, and there's no rhyme or reason there. I'm not sure.
But I mean, the adjustment would be that those aren't, the skilled trade adjustment isn't included in the ones without asterisks?
Correct.
Okay.
From what I understand, I'm not a union attorney by any means, so this was Greek to me at first, but sat down with the mayor who's been in the union. We went through the whole, everyone helped today, going through all these and making sure that it complied or it was the same as what the union contract is. Now, the non-union positions, those are, I'm not sure if those are the correct figures either. I do need to get with Jenny and make sure, those may need to be tweaked, but I did not get a chance before this meeting at 4:30 to talk with her, so this is a draft. But we wanted to get what we had to you tonight. That way, when we can pass it, we should be able to.
And all the skilled trades was done the past administration. We have not done any.
Right.
The three that we had questions on were under your province too, which is the chief, police chief, assistant police chief, and then the EMT supervisor.
Well, that's the one question, because I thought that the fire, EMS, and police, I thought their wages was the sole discretion of council.
They are.
But we had nothing to do with setting these wages.
The union contract.
That's
They're under
union, that.
union contract.
It just seems
You
like
have-
the
you have a right to
council,
add to it. Union did.
They were already, you're just saying that they were already there.
They were
I mean,
already there, yeah.
And the reason I have the little carrots by those is because there was a raise given to them in the last administration by Mayor Cunningham after the union contract, but right after the union contract was, so I don't know that the right figures were given to the union to begin with as far as what they're making right now.
now what about the raises that they were given this administration that the council never approved?
They're not in there.
They're not in there. That has
But
nothing to do with that.
we had voted on them paying that money back. Has that money been paid back?
No, because they all filed grievances and it's going to go to arbitration with the union.
Well,
That's why.
my question, that's why I'm going back to the question. You said you can't deviate from the salary ordinance,
Correct.
but it was. Those raises was given, and now supposedly they're filing grievance, but the law is, I thought, you can't deviate away from the salary ordinance, but it was. So why,
And it was stopped.
but the money was paid out.
Well, it's.
And as soon as arbitration and the
arbitration's
union
over, it's taken
decides,
care of.
But
They have a right to arbitration.
these figures here have nothing to do with that grievance, the whole thing that happened with the mayor. As these raises are only based on 75 cents raise that every person in the union, according to the new union contract, got. Okay, so, because otherwise, they were only getting about 20, well, one of them was only $2 a week raise. The other one was only $20 a week raise. But the original figures, as far as what those three individuals made, were given to the union wrong when they did the union
So
negotiations.
So basically, if there's one or two that is not, you don't agree with, you have to vote down the whole thing, correct?
Well, that all depends on what the union's willing to do. We're writing a letter to them to let them know, like I said, they admitted Vicky, the utility accountant, completely.
It was a typo.
They've admitted the court clerk completely.
You can't piecemeal it. You gotta vote for the contract, appropriate money for it, or to vote it down.
what, as far as the court clerk, what do you mean there? Because I mean, city court and it's got court clerk on here.
The city court has Teresa as the court clerk.
Right.
She was not provided for in the union contract, and she is
Oh,
union.
okay.
So those are things that we need to talk with the union about, and I've already added them in the salary ordinance, but, you know, those are basically subject to change. We're not sure what the union's gonna agree to.
They had to sign off on it.
They got
Okay.
to sign off.
I've got a question in regards, like with the police department, with the police chief, assistant chief, it's salary here. And then you go to the fire department and it's hourly. and then it goes over here to the fire department, and it breaks down to the different positions and such. Why is that?
The only union position that the union contract provides for is the full-time firefighter, which is the $23.13 an hour.
Well, what I'm asking is it's an appointed position. Isn't that a salary position, Mayor? As far, I mean, the
No, it's
chief is, I
hourly.
know.
They're paying them hourly.
No, but the
But can-
patrolman, not chief
can we
and
do
the
that?
assistant. Chief and the assistant.
Can that be done, though, is what I'm asking, Jackie?
I'm sorry.
As far as the fire chief, I mean, they're getting paid a hourly wage, and then this other on top of that.
Who's getting paid hourly?
Your chief does, he
Fire
gets a
chief.
stipend.
Oh, the fire chief, I'm sorry.
But I
He
mean,
gets-
why,
okay.
why wouldn't
Only
the
full-time, I understand.
police chief get a stipend then?
Because it was always volunteer,
Because
and we made it full-time.
Johnny was a full-time fireman.
I understand that, but I mean, what my question is here is basically
Okay.
two different things, and it's positions that are there, and I don't see how you can pay one hourly and one has to be salary. I mean, I'm sure the police chief and assistant chief would love to be hourly rate.
Right, because that $10,250 a year,
With stipend for being chief,
That,
fire chief.
that wouldn't be considered double dipping?
We can make the fire chief salary.
Right.
But I'm just saying you're getting paid an hourly wage and you're getting paid a salary as well.
He's getting paid a regular fireman wage.
Well, I
But
understand
he's getting
that.
stipend for being the fire chief.
I understand that,
That's what
Mayor.
he has in the past when he was volunteer.
But then in the past, I mean, you've got the breakdown as far as in the police department, as far as your different positions, lieutenant, sergeant, detectives, and all, and then you've got a breakdown over here, which is on top of what the hourly rate is.
well, everything in the police department is union,
Yeah,
though.
it's all,
Well, so is the fire department for the firefighters that are full-time.
The only one we have is the chief.
Well, I'm just saying,
Only
can you
full-time.
you're doing it both ways. You're doing it hourly and you're doing it a salary.
Like the mayor said, it's a stipend, and we could go back and look at the ordinance.
Okay, I'm just asking a question. I mean, if it's
that's-
legitimate, then
we could go
fine, but
back
I
and-
mean,
We could go back and look at the ordinance, but the ordinance was passed at one time because they were all
right,
part-time
I
to
understand that.
begin
I mean,
with.
this is the first time as far as a full-time.
let's go back and look at it.
But I mean, it's the thing as far as with the police chief and the assistant chief, I mean, it's been full-time as far as,
But their wages is compensated for being that.
well, so
The
is,
fire chief wasn't at the time.
but what's what I'm saying is, should we do that?
That's up to council there. It's what you want to, huh?
I think we should make the fire chief salary and the assistant fire
That's up to you.
chief salary
That's up to you.
with
I
no
agree.
stipends.
Well, would you would break down then on the different positions that are there, the full-time officers, of course, you would break that down into an hourly rate then?
The 10,250?
Well, whatever it would be as far as, what positions are there as far as in the fire? I mean, I know you get fire chief, assistant chief.
Lieutenants, You got district chiefs and you.
I mean, as far as full-time though, we got 6
The only
full-time?
thing is,
Full-time.
the only thing.
That would be the
that's-
only ones that it would affect, would be the full-time. I mean, the volunteers and such, it wouldn't be,
Those are the non-union.
right, right.
The only thing provided for in the union contract was full-time firefighter, which is the $23.13 hourly.
That's what they negotiated to do.
The non-union positions, did they get 75 cents on the hour, or how'd they get their raises?
Those are mostly part-time.
Don't know.
They're
I don't-
part-time.
I don't,
I didn't do that.
wait, the garage clerical shouldn't be. I don't know if the garage clerical should be in there. We made so many revisions today. I don't know that the garage clerical, I think garage clerical is under clerical.
For instance, the mayor's assistant, how did you come up with this $2,800 raise?
They negotiated.
Was it 75 cents an hour, or was it done on a percent base?
Assistant. Oh,
Let me look at my marked up
Oh,
copy.
the mayor's assistant? Mm-hmm. You put that in there, didn't you?
I
I was
think,
talking about the secretary.
I think that was just a 75 cent on an hour raise multiplied against the number of hours in a year.
And that goes for the utility director, the human resource director,
Yeah,
Clerical aid with degree.
It should
Yeah,
be, and it should be for the construction inspector, the building inspector.
Garage.
Um,
That should be marked out. Just for clarification, and I didn't mark it out, I had about 30 minutes to do the revisions before the meeting. Garage clerical under the non-union positions, which is the 22.48 an hour, is
What page you on?
on page 4, very top one under Civil City Parks and Utility, non-union position.
That's with skilled trade, right?
Yeah, that is
Or degree, whatever you want to call it.
clerical A with degree,
Uh-huh.
which is on the first page, which is the 22.48 hourly.
So she gets
So that comes out?
That
No,
comes
she-
out of that portion.
non-union.
The non-union part, yes.
Oh, okay.
So it's already in earlier in the.
Yes, it's under civil city. We added to clerical A with degree, I just didn't take it out of there.
So you're saying garage clerical no longer exists?
The non-union part.
The non-union, I just didn't take it out of the non-union. Originally, when I was sitting home doing this last night, wasn't sure who was union and who was non-union, so,
There is no non-union clerical in Civil City.
besides the part-time, right?
No.
Now, but I'm not sure as far as the 75%, Jane, as far as the part-time, whether or not, I mean, that's something, that would be something that the mayor would have to decide.
Why on police reserves, $30 hourly, subject to change?
Because
Jack?
it used to be 25, and then last year, I think it was, or the year before, they changed it to 30.
That's not something the city pays, though.
That's paid out.
No, that's paid by.
Paid by
Yeah.
different
The people that
details.
hire them,
Organization
yes.
hires them.
Right.
Yes.
Like if you have Agner Hall, you
So
gotta
that-
pay the $30 an
That's
hour.
not an
Yeah.
expense of the city, is what I'm saying.
No.
But like for Fall Fest and stuff, that
No,
rate would
that's
apply? Or not?
full-time officers work that, and it's their overtime rate.
And the Fall Fest Committee pays the other.
Right.
So that makes a good point. I mean, would we even put the police reserves in the salary ordinance, Jackie? Or do you
I
just
think
have to?
they've always been.
You just have to publish it as what it would
I
be?
don't have to publish the salary ordinance at all anymore.
Well, I just mean, you have to put forth the police reserves because
Yeah.
if someone wanted to look at salary ordinance, they can say
Yeah.
that. Okay, I get
It's
it.
just, but the state quit, and then at the time, you only had to publish the elected officials part, and then I think it was last year, they quit making you do that. So you don't have to publish anything now.
I want to let council know, and the mayor and Jackie, that Kyle, our attorney, is also going to make us salary ordinances. And we're also going to do appropriation budget. And we'll get that paperwork to you all as soon as we get it and get it done.
So then this salary ordinance is no good?
That doesn't necessarily mean we won't agree with this one. We're going to,
But you're
See.
gonna have them prepare one,
yes.
since we've had one prepared already? Makes sense.
From what we've been looking at so far, it looks like it's about a 3.5% raise. So what we're thinking is if you're going to give a 3.5% raise to the union, then you should probably do it across the board. I don't know if Leslie's taken that into
Usually do
consideration.
That usually happens.
Yeah, so that's what,
Do, matter of fact.
okay.
roughly.
So I don't know if Leslie, I haven't seen the salary ordinance, so I'm not sure. I know that council, it is their, it is up to them to set the police and the fire. Thank you. So, we're willing to work with everyone on this. If you guys want to review what we have, whatever we create based on, and we always base it on what they already have. So we're gonna look at what they have. We'll put forth any recommendations for you guys to review.
You guys have my email, just email me anything, you email those guys, just email it to me as well.
Yeah, we will email you everything that we have. We haven't done anything yet. So anything that we do, you guys will get.
So, Jackie, as far as
Yeah.
if we were to advertise this,
Mm-hmm,
it has to be 10 days, correct?
mm-hmm.
It has to be 10 business days.
Mm,
Calendar. This is calendar.
yeah.
Okay. Where are we at the interlocal agreement? Building inspector.
I think that needs to be tabled till after appropriations are made.
Put that in the motion?
I move that we table the interlocal cooperative agreement between the city of Lawrenceburg and Greendale.
There's quite a, I mean, I don't know if I'm mistaken, but are there quite a few permits, big permits waiting to be signed, or am I wrong?
I know there's at least one big one.
I mean,
This has already been passed in Greendale, right? Last night?
I think it has a date on here too.
Says the 20,
Vote before count,
26.
yeah, 27th before Lawrenceburg and 26th for Greendale.
So you got a motion on the floor, to hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
aye.
Roll call, please.
Hang on. Jane is a yes. Aaron?
No.
Bill?
No.
Mike is a yes. You seconded it. And Doug?
Yes.
Okay. It passed.
Passed, okay. Any old business?
Yeah, I have one matter, old business. I just had a question for the city attorney, or maybe someone else here knows. Has to do with the trailer park issue we've been talking about. There's one trailer there still, the guy doesn't have his title, and he has to be out by the 30th. And so even if he wanted to leave, how would he get the title to sign it over to be removed?
Where is the title, Aaron? Do you know?
He said it got stolen, or he can't find it, or
He should be able to apply
Then he
for a
needs
lost
to
title.
apply at the BMV for a duplicate.
well,
think
I
he
guess
tried
the
helping
landowners are
him, too.
pressuring him to be out there by the 30th. I've already taken him to court, and
Time to file it's like $15. Time to stay there for a little while longer.
what can, you know, anything he can do, or about getting the title, or
Junction.
There was a call from Naomi today. Was that, I never got a chance to call her back. Was
Okay.
that what the issue was about?
I looked into that for that individual, and what needs to be done is you file for a lost title through motor vehicle, and then I got instructions that you had to go out and tag the trailer with a number. You cannot find the serial number on the trailer. So you got to tag it with a new number. A cop's got to come by. Policeman comes by, verifies that that tag is permanently fastened, and that is the number that's used for the new title.
So he doesn't know what the serial number is on it?
And we have not been able to find it.
my question is, since he don't have a title, have to go through this process, even if he wanted to sell his trailer, how are the, anybody gonna take it out of there without a title? Nobody can tow it out of there without a title, even if he wants to sell it. How are the, Ballards gonna tow it out of there without a title? And I know the Ballards are supposed to get their money, I believe it's tomorrow. And I would,
We've got 15 trailers in that trailer
The
park
company that
down there.
moves
They
them
don't
should
get-
have a transporting
It's a dry
tag.
closing. They don't get any money until
That park's empty.
that park's empty.
I'd say the longer that trailer sits there, the more expensive its price is probably going up, if I had to guess.
well, when are they supposed to get the money, escrow or anything? I mean, I don't care how it's
It's
worded.
Leslie, correct me, but it's called a dry closing,
For tax purposes.
and
If it closes this year.
I mean, I would
they
like,
don't get the funds until their end of the agreement is.
right.
I would,
filled.
Are you going to close this year and then they'll receive the funds later? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's a dry closing.
well, I'd like to see him not get.
Stipulated on a clean site, a cleared site.
Honestly, I'd like to not see him get any
We
money,
still have leverage
dry
on it.
closing or not, until everything's cleared. That was the agreement.
Right.
You know, I don't care about the capital gains if, that's up to them.
Well, isn't that what you're saying, though, Leslie, that there's no money exchange
No.
until it's a dry closing?
Right.
It won't be done
Yeah,
until
it'll-
the
Exactly. until
contract
their
is
end of the-
fulfilled?
But in order, the whole thing was they wanted to close before the end of the year, do it by dry closing. That way, as far as any capital, like Mr. Cook was alluding to.
So is that the way you're going to do it?
Still gonna avoid capital gains that way.
that's not the way you said you were going to do it, Grant. You said it was going to be based on the trailer park being cleared and the ground cleaned.
Yeah, you do a dry closing, but they don't receive any money until the site is cleared.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the money probably goes in the escrow account.
Yes, they did.
Right.
It goes in the escrow account.
But they don't get it
closing,
until,
Right.
They still avoid capital gains though, and I,
because it's been transferred to the public.
I would hate to see them do that since they haven't been that willing to work with the city.
but that's not what the contract says.
Is it in the
That Mr.
contract?
Grant, Mr. Hughes signed.
It's in the
I have
contract.
never seen the contract.
It's in the contract. It calls for dry closing. It goes into escrow, and then they don't get the money until the site is cleared.
Till the city signs off, it's clear.
Well, Mr. Lawrence, you're the president of the board. If
It
you
never
don't
went
sign
back
it, then
before him.
it won't go,
I didn't sign it.
I'm saying as far as tomorrow, whenever it's supposed to be. How you feel about, waiting until
I
it's cleared?
said from the get-go that that contract wasn't legal, but
I mean, it's one thing if they were willing to cooperate, but they haven't worked with the city at all, I feel like. That's my main concern.
Well, they have, it's removal of the trailers theirs, and they did pay people the incentives if they moved at a certain period of time.
Well, every
So
time I
those dollars that were in there have been expended. If they are not expended, then that money goes back to the Main Street organization.
Did they ever agree to reimburse the city for the appraised values, or?
They agreed to, yes, the appraised value less the removal of the trailer. And less the incentives that they paid out.
So the question to Leslie, as Mike being president of the redevelopment, if he doesn't sign off on that closing, it's no good?
Well, it'll be a breach of the contract.
Breach by who?
If the contract has already been signed, the contract's already been signed, and it's already a binding contract. At this point, as far as what's being signed over, I mean, I don't even know what documents exactly, I mean, I have not reviewed those documents. Mrs. Ewing did call me today. We were in the middle of trying to get all this done for the meeting tonight, so I have not talked to her. I will talk to her in the morning. But I don't know as far as what what documents that she's gonna require that you sign tomorrow.
But the breach is, I mean, I feel as far as I would agree with Aaron, I mean, I don't know that there's been a breach as far as a city, I mean.
well, I think what it is because Grant represents the city, even though by state statute, he's not the person that should have done it. But a judge is probably gonna say, well, he represented the city, they entered into it in good faith, that'd be breach of contract. It's not those people's fault that he shouldn't have entered into the contract. Is that correct, Leslie?
That's in a roundabout way, yes.
And just one clarification on that, Councilman Lawrence, is that the redevelopment commission did vote.
They voted for you to move forward with an offer. They did not vote for you to close the deal, sign the contract.
They voted for me to.
And if you read the statute, it has to be done in writing. You show me where it was done, and you have it in writing.
Well,
I'm not gonna argue with you.
I can only follow the direction of the board at that time, sir.
And they did not tell you to negotiate a deal and close that deal. I believe it was the whole board's intentions, a deal would be brought back to the board to review and to pass.
I can't speak to that. I was not present at that meeting.
Heads here, do you remember any of that went on that situation?
Go to the microphone, please, if you want to speak.
If you don't remember anything, that's fine. I didn't know if you remember anything about that whole situation or not.
I thought we voted.
Yeah, would you go to the microphone?
Give Grant Hughes permission to go ahead.
Go to Mike's microphone there, speak in his microphone.
It was a cut and dry deal. Redevelopment was going to buy that land for $890,000, is that correct? And council was not involved in this at that time. It was a clean-cut deal, clean site, no payments, no, no payments to
The residents.
the residents. It was a clean-cut deal for Grant Hughes to go ahead and make the deal for $890,000, but the thing was, the money would not be transferred until there was a clean site. The only thing to be left are the gas,
Utility stuff.
utilities.
Utilities we capped.
I understood there should have been straw on the place, clean. That's what I remember.
So this all took place in the meeting?
Yes.
You got that DVD?
Well, he's just saying that we shouldn't be,
That's what I recall.
receive the money until everything was clean.
But
I thought it was a very, very good deal for, there's only so much land inside the Conservancy District here, inside the levee. In the future, there could be an adult center, housing over there. I just thought it was a really good deal. But it's turned out, I don't know all of the, I can't wait to redevelopment meeting to actually talk about these things, about the contract, about when we said to Grant Hughes to go ahead. I think it was 3-2 vote, 3-1, 4-1. I don't remember the vote, but I know we had the 3 votes to finalize the deal. I don't remember the January 1st part of it, that we had to get this guy his money by January 1st. I don't remember that. But I do remember it sounded like a wonderful deal to buy this property, put adult housing in there, adult center maybe, but then it's all turned south. To the point we're kicking people out. Capital gains, I've never heard that word connected to the people who own that property and the city. Redevelopment, I care less about capital gains.
Basically what you're saying is we made the offer for $890,000 to buy it once everything was cleared. And Ballard would pay for everything.
And no money was going to take place.
And we took them at their word that they were going to take care of their tenants.
And there was
We never heard anything about any
there was no capital gains involved in
We
it.
did take them at their word that they were going to take care of the tenants.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any more old business? Hearing none, motion?
I know, I got one thing. Go ahead. Jane, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
You got something?
I got something under new business.
Oh, we're fast, well, go ahead. Go ahead, we can do it under old business.
I move that Barnes and Thornburg be retained to represent the council in connection with the subpoena issued to city council in the Middle Earth litigation and Jones Properties lawsuit.
Do what now? Repeat that again.
Well, before you do this, there is a jury trial that is not being continued by the court in 2 weeks, basically starting, what was it? 14th?
Starts at 14th.
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 Yeah.
That is not being continued by the court, has been objected to as far as any continuance and is not being continued by the court. It's going forward on the 14th.
I'm just giving our council permission to respond back. That doesn't mean that we still won't appear in court as scheduled.
No, I'm not saying that. As far as you're saying, your motion just now was that your attorney would be authorized to contribute or be a part of the Middle Earth case. Is that part of it? Part of your motion there?
I retain to represent the council in connection with the subpoena issued to city council in the Middle Earth litigation.
Okay, those are 2 separate things, correct? That's what you're saying? There's 3 separate things that you just listed. Is that correct?
No, I'm just Middle Earth and Jones Properties lawsuit.
The current council was subpoenaed for that trial as well, even though I have
Right.
I have no clue what it had to do with or anything. We were subpoenaed as well.
That's what my question was gonna be, Leslie, is on that part. I received a subpoena on it as well. I don't have any idea what,
But there is no
We all
way,
were, we wasn't.
well, I understand that, but I mean,
I'm not even up to speed on that. Mr. Votal is not, I don't even think, going to participate. We're not sure. You know, he may because he has lots of knowledge about that. But for another attorney, your attorney, to get up to speed in that amount of time for a jury trial,
I don't think that's what exactly, is that what you're
I
asking
don't
there?
think that's what he's asking. He's just asking that he will respond back.
This is the subpoenas that were issued as far as in what we would, I mean, I haven't been depoted or anything on that, but I don't know anything about it either, so.
Well, I know one of the things caught me by surprise, because in a meeting, I had asked about that lawsuit when we discussed about if want to make them an offer or something.
It's 25 or 50,000 to
Yeah.
avoid the legal fees.
And if you remember, I asked, who was named, was it just Lawrenceburg named in the lawsuit or what? And Mr. Votal said yes. But then when I get my subpoena, it's City of Lawrenceburg and 2 other individuals.
I believe at that time, he didn't know any more than that.
I think.
They had
I've
it.
never been,
Later, were you?
had a deposition
See,
or
I don't
anything,
even
and
know.
I got a subpoena.
Were you added later? 'Cause
Actually, I think we're off of it.
Because we went,
We're off.
remember.
You're on Middle
You
Earth.
gave us the right to go to Indianapolis and meet with their attorneys.
But not
Well, nothing got settled.
individually.
So
Mediation.
this is what they did after that.
Bastidel and you were dropped from the lawsuit after all of these different posturing by everybody.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just the city of Lawrence.
When was that done? Because according to
Our
subpoena,
it's
they're
not.
Well, when a court case is filed, the caption doesn't change whether or not defendants are dismissed. The caption always stays the same, exactly how it's filed to begin with. So that could be why Mr. Stidle and Mr. Todd's name are still on that lawsuit.
My understanding was everything was dropped except the breach of contract.
Correct.
I think, that's what I
Yes.
understood.
It is just the breach.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor.
But that, I was just, and I'm not sure if that affects your motion, but I wanted to make sure that you all knew that case is not being continued again. The judge will not continue it. So if your attorney requests it, I'm sure it will be denied at this point.
I don't think.
I don't believe that that's
I
what's
don't think
being
he wants to
asked.
do that.
Okay, that's the only
Okay.
thing I wanted to caution.
I'll second it in case, so if it does need to be responded to, but we definitely need them to respond to the
I've got a
judge.
motion, I got a second.
And that's concerning the Middle Earth litigation and the Jones Properties lawsuit.
And the FBI subpoena. That's what
No,
you said,
he's
no?
doing the,
Made that motion.
I'm
he made
sorry.
that motion.
I'm sorry.
Would you read your motion over again so we got it clear?
She said all three.
I move that Barnes and Thornburg be retained to represent the council in connection with the subpoena issued to city council in the Middle Earth litigation and Jones Properties lawsuit.
We got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Jane?
Yes.
Yes. Aaron?
No.
Bill?
No.
Mike is yes, and Doug?
Yes.
Yes, have it.
Okay.
Need a motion for adjournment.
Hold on, I got a question to ask Leslie.
We got papers to sign.
On these subpoenas I'm receiving, left and right, it says I have to respond to this. Do I respond personally, or will the city respond, or
Which one are you talking about?
either one, the Jones or the Middle Earth?
Well, for Middle Earth, it means you have to show up.
No, I mean just respond to it in writing or anything, like the Jones
No,
says I have to
no.
respond.
I don't know about the Jones. You need to show me that.
Okay.
But as far as the Middle Earth means, you got to show up.
Yeah,
the
I'll
day
be
that
there for
they're-
that. I just didn't know about the,
So why do we need to show up when we weren't even,
I wouldn't either, I got subpoena too. I don't know much about it either.
I don't know.
I know you have to bring me up to speed before I
I
go
don't know
in,
what
so.
their angle is on that, but
None of us was in office what time that took place.
no. I'm not
Well,
sure
Bill,
either.
I think you were. Sorry, Bill.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, Jackie, you have something?
Well, the council approved your conflict of interest statement at the last meeting, but I forgot to have them sign it. And we have annual certification of an elected official to the executive. on compliance with municipal nepotism policy involving direct line supervision, which is, as far as I know, just a technicality because they have to be signed before the end of the year and they have to be sent to the state.
This is new law, nepotism.
Yeah, new law with nepotism, yes.
Okay.
So I need you to sign that, and yours has got your name on it, and so is Doug's. Sign these. And then if you want copies of these nepotism things, I can do that too. This was sent to me from another entity saying this was what they were doing.
I don't know what it is.
So just sign this, send this down there. You don't need to sign it, just send it.
Oh, he's signed it.
That says our name on it.
Okay.
You gotta sign it.
Y'all have to sign it?
Yeah.
Do you have one? Jane didn't get one of these.
Nepotism.
Oh, there should be, I passed them all down.
Did I keep one?
I don't know.
I don't see it.
They all had their name on them.
Nutty, did you keep one? I don't have it.
No, I don't have it.
Now, what's this?
How many did you guys get, Doug?
I only gave them
I
the
got
2. I sent the other
2.
3 your way.
How many is there?
Well, this one, you signed Jane's. There wasn't one for you,
You
Toots.
feel it?
I handed you 3 of them.
Jane, you're under my signature.
Jane, I'll have one for you. Well, here, have her sign over your name, under your name, something. So I can send that in, and I'll put that it was signed by error.
Jane,
I handed you all of them to pass down.
I think that one's yours.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys want copies of these?
Please.
Okay.
Mayor, under old business,
Wait a minute, Doug.
go ahead.
Why wouldn't I have to sign?
Because it says it goes to the executive of the city. That'd be you.
Go ahead, Doug.
Can't vote on that.
Pat
Separate
Kreider,
ordinance at all.
just wanting to just get an update as far as with we was talking about the Tate Street,
Kate, right?
no, the trailer court, as far as the families and such, as far as if there's any other needed money in helping with that.
Okay, we got to hurry
Ref
along. We got
Grant.
a meeting at 6 o'clock.
Do you know do you know anything, Grant, as far as with what Craig Beckley has been having? Because Pat had called me and talked to me as far as there was a need of some other money and such. I didn't know if what was there was going to be enough to take care of this. And then my other was as far as still, I want to see redevelopment reimburse what's being paid out in this as well. I was reiterating that. Do you know any more as far as that, or Pat can maybe?
There's, we're down to 2 trailers left on site that, one of them is, trying to locate another site.
The trailer?
Yeah, trailer. And then Beckley has been talking with, Pat, and, he's right now like about $1,200. And we ran the numbers, yesterday, and we were sitting right around 35,000. So it looks like that fund still got the room in it to help out with the Beckley side of it too, hard house.
Okay. You're good.
That guy gave, he needed immediately 1,200, so we gave him that, but he thinks he's going to need more, probably another 3,800 yet to cover, and those are the people, I guess, that were renters that get that expense for first month rent and deposit, yeah. He thinks he will need more, and I'm happy to cover that unless you all.
No, I just thought that you all have enough in that fund to be able to cover is what my question is. Okay, that answers my question.
Needed immediately.
1,200, which we gave him this morning.
Yeah, because he said that at the last meeting he was at, that he would need about another $5,000.
Right, and he reiterated that, so probably about 3,800 more. We should be okay.
Okay, that's all, that's what I was
And
wondering.
that was based on, he's looking at the total number, so.
Okay, well, I was going to see is if there was going to be enough there.
I think it's, will be all right.
Okay.
Okay. Any more old business?
Yeah. I would like to ask council what their feelings are on about giving me some more help, which I put in the note. This subpoena is going to take a long time from the one from the FBI to copy all that stuff. And as I said in my notes, in the summer, we have to count and take care of all the pool money. That's another big job that takes a person. I just want to know what to count on, or to ask for an extension with the FBI and them, which they said I can do.
Yeah, we're, I think collectively going to ask for an extension.
I can call Mr. Freeman.
I believe your office is overwhelmed right now with everybody requesting everything. I mean, reading.
Oh, just a little
Coming today
bit.
with a bunch of stuff, didn't it?
Just a little bit.
So you need to help.
I think you need to bring in a professional, either your financial advisor or a Reedy financial advisor, to get in there, work for a while to get you caught up, get you everything straightened out. Probably takes several $1,000s to do that, but at the time, I don't think the city can afford to add a new employee for over $100,000 a year by the time you add in benefits and everything. But yes, if you want professional help to come in there and get you
coming in
straight.
tomorrow, and
Great.
Teresa has November almost finished, but she had to work with Leslie today on the union stuff, so she didn't get it all done. But is coming down tomorrow to spend the day.
You gotta get done what you can get done.
Yeah.
If you can't get it all done, you can't get it done.
I'd rather see the money spent with too, to help
Okay.
you.
Well, why don't we have Umball, if they're coming down, to look over our salary ordinance, so we don't have to write another one, or so we don't have to pay for another one, speaking of spending money. Just a thought.
I think they should look over it.
I'll do that, Bill.
Any more? Any more unfinished business? Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
What meeting's at 6?
10 o'clock tomorrow, so it's tomorrow in my office, okay?
No, I don't. All this